I was surprised with the Duolingo thing at the top. That's kind of new. If you're on YouTube, by the way, there is a subscription happening on Twitch. Basically, if you get like a sub or gifted sub, or if you buy anything, basically, you get 3 months, I think, of Duolingo for free. So, not that it's good, but the argument is that if you are someone that is interested in greeting chats in multiple languages, Duolingo is there for that. So, maybe interesting. I just renewed my 6 months by mistake. I forgot to cancel, and now I have 6 more months of Duolingo Premium. So, it happens. But welcome on in. I hope you're good. I hope your day was good. I am as tired as things can be, and I don't know how long this stream is going to be. There is so much happening. I have been feeling tired, as the name implies, for the past, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days, which is really bad. And apparently, I am a slideshow on my phone. Um, but this is probably due to this thing, which is kind of sad, and I wish I could avoid it, but I can't. And today, the heart rate has been kind of weird. Not in the sense that it's bad, but mostly in the sense that it's feel bad, if that makes any sense to you. It feels stronger than usual, even though all the vitals are exactly the same as usual. Um, Not stronger, nothing really bad. It's just it happens. So yeah, rest is supposed to happen. So I'm gonna do my best on today's stream to be like resting-ish kind of thing. So if you have anything to review, please feel free to share. That's gonna be pretty useful. To not do too much. I mean, we can do much, but like not too much. The usual. The usual. We haven't had like a lot of things. The only some of the changes that have happened today have been related to um, this breaks, and it pisses me off, and I don't get it, but we're gonna figure it out. Some small changes is this section right now is doing a way better job at giving you as the user um, proper output on what your sent DNA is. So in the past, it was doing something that was what I called additive values. So if you had like a woody fragrance in your collection and you liked it, you put it like at 5 stars and favorited it and so on. You had weighted values that are added to the quota of from 0 to 1, and you had the thing. That was the plan. And if you added a second fragrance that was woody as well, it just additively added on top of what we already have until it reached 1. Meaning that if your collection was like 160 perfumes with values on any and all fragrances and all like family notes, you ended up with a chart that would be basically circles all around. So that's not good. So what I'm doing right now is a bit of a median situation based on the perfume itself, so that we have the perfume family and olfactory notes. Basically, when you are here, let me get one that is kind of specific. Like something like this, for example, which is basically 3 specific family notes: the citrus, woody, and amber. These are the 3 families. That means that if I highly rated this perfume specifically, it would highlight the citrus, woody, and amber notes in that family things as well. So that's interesting. But then instead of having this as a a cumulative additive every time. It is now just a median. So the overall grading of that perfume is added as a percentage. And then if I have another perfume that has similar notes, is going through and so on. Kinda, I'm sorry about that. Welcome on YouTube. That's kind of sad. That is kind of sad. Because it was fixed last stream. I don't know what changed, but welcome on in. I hope you're good. I am not, but I hope you're good. So yeah, so now this is like a median or means situation where if I have something that is rated highly, it's going to be towards the 100% popularity in my personal sense DNA. And then if I do something about it and it changes, or I have like another perfume that has the same family inside of it, it's gonna ratio it based on. So we get the median in between the two, and that makes something that is more, I think, better. I don't know. We're gonna see. We are going to see. But yeah, I would say that's the main thing. The second thing is someone gave me like a feedback, which was true, which is like in the layering section, sometimes, not sometimes, they had like basically their perfume with their perfume as an option to layer. So you had twice the same thing, and that makes no sense. I mean, it's just a respray, so it's not a layering section. So that's something that was fixed. And there was another issue with the search when you are adding an entry. Basically, right here, it was just loading and loading and loading with no output. So right now, I fixed that, and that's working for everything, I think. So that's good, kinda. There is a lot of other teeny tiny things that I need to work on before it can be released. But as always, I'm trying to get like, I don't know, I would say a month of beta testing is pretty good. 2 weeks is, at least the initial 2 weeks are usually enough to fix the biggest bugs, and then the next 2 weeks are to fix the things that I didn't see or that the other beta testers didn't see. So that's the thing. The good news, at least for me, is that we are limited to 50 users this time compared to Canned, which was like 1,000. I mean, unlimited, and so we ended up with way too much things in there. So that's something that happened. But yeah, that's that's pretty good. Overall, we have like good working systems for most of the things, and yeah, we'll see. It's nah. There are some issues though. There are a lot of issues that are just pissing me off, and things that could be implemented, improved, and so on, and that just implies stuff that I don't like. But you know, like the way that iOS and SwiftUI specifically is managing data is really weird because it requires you to say the schema that you have is unmovable. So you have it, and then if one day you decide that you need to add one field, you will basically wipe the database on the user device because you added one field. And I thought it was like a smart way of having the schema and things because Apple made it and so on. But no, there is like basically there is a need to create a system of migration inside of the app to define that there is a new field coming in that will need to be added to all of the existing elements. And then based on that, it will do some sort of migration system to add that field to any entries. It makes no sense to me. So that happens. That happens. But yeah, other than that, everything is working so far. Some of the things are broken, as in specifically here, the thing that pisses me off is if you look closely when I'm killing it and reopening it, there will be some sort of a flash on the card itself. Um, that right now, obviously, when I'm trying to show it, it doesn't work. But you see the empty state of said card for like sometimes a second, sometimes a quarter of a second, and then it switches back to this view with your perfumes and so on. And so you end up with things that are not supposed to happen, and it's really bad. Like it's a flash that doesn't make any sense. So, you know, it happens. Nonetheless, the rest is working, which is what is the most important. Most of the things are working perfectly. And for the people that are interested in perfumes, yesterday was this thing, and this is the most. Um, yeah, I could, I could try to fix it, but we might like. Um, Azulka, hi, what got it? How are you? How's the day going? We might have to kill the stream and start it again, but that's like debatable. It's feasible though. With the speed that I have, it's kind of feasible, but it might break things. We never know. We never know. Um, well, that's good news. So yeah, so this one was really good. This is the toasted caramelized vanilla scent. It's incredibly impressive of how it smells, and it did smell um, sweet vanilla uh, all day. So that's crazy. That's crazy. The list is tiny. Stony, hi. Did you lose your streak yesterday or on Wednesday? Welcome back. Um, yeah, I have a small collection. You didn't? Well, congrats. Congrats. No, no labo. I tried. I tried another 13, and I tried uh Temacha, I think. I think that's the other one. And they didn't work for me. Um well that's a good move. That is a good move. Um I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. What happened? What design did you do? What did you break? What did you break? Um, so yeah, on this thing, I don't have much. Most of these I haven't tried yet. Like I tried this one yesterday and this one today. But then I love this one. This is not the best option. Um, and it happens. Most of these I've tried. I love Indult for some fucking reason. They are really good. Naked Dance is really fun because of how spacey it feels. I like that. Byredo are really clean. That's about it. That's all that they are. Nothing else. Um, so you know. And then this is the only one. I mean, that's not true. This is the second one that I have a full bottle of, and that's 100 ml. And I'm sad because I loved it when I tried it in testers like this. I loved it so much that I decided to buy the bottle. And when I tried the bottle, it smells different because of the amount of spray and the atomizer and the things in there are really different to me. So I need to find a way to basically change the bottle, change the sprayers, change the thing to get it better, you know? Um, but yeah, most of these though are pretty good. The only one that I hated is this one. This one is just it. Yeah, it it did this thing which you might not know, but it did this stuff where you feel like you're about to throw up because the smell, the environment, the thing, something is bothering you, and that yeah, that was this one, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's kind of the same, to be honest. This one has a or had like a very similar effect on me, where it was too sweet and too chemically sweet. But yeah, form is pretty good though. But yeah, that's that it. So far, I feel like I fear. I fear that the latest 9 that I just got 3 days ago, 2 days ago, on the first, they are from the same company or the same brand, except Odeur 10, which is like from Comme des Garçons. The other like 8, I fear I will like all of them because I tried this one yesterday, loved it. I tried this one today, really like it. Not love it, but really like it. And knowing what he does, I fear I'm gonna like most of them. So we're gonna see. We gonna see. Um, so yeah, what do you need on Figma Story? Because I'm expecting you to have said something like this because you made some changes, and it's bad changes. I don't know if it's bad. I don't think it's gonna be bad, but we never know. We never know. And I haven't. It's not that I haven't touched Figma in a while. It's mostly that I haven't had the opportunity to touch Figma in a while. That sounds. I had like a client right here um, that hasn't paid me yet, but it's fine. We are working in good faith with this one for no reason. Did I just turn into a slideshow again? God dang, that's crazy. The stream on Android is just so choppy. That's crazy. Um, so yeah, what do you need on this specifically? Like I'm guessing it's probably going to be around here or somewhere else, but knowing you, you probably, um, you know, touch dang. God damn, that's a lot. That's interesting. I like it. I don't like this though, but I like the concept. That makes sense. No, no. Look at it. It's not even scented. What's the difference in between these two? It's the same. It is the same. You are learning Kotlin. I see. I see. I see. Well, interesting. There are some things that are potentially good in terms of having a base and then moving on from there. There are a lot of things that are just like not good. But as you said, this is for entertainment purposes, so that's fine. I would say you have a pretty good base with a lot of these things. There is changes to be made when it comes to like alignment, aspect ratios, you know. Yeah, Gemini in Android Studio is free. And again, not an expert on this domain, but still kind of knowledgeable to an extent. Gemini is the heaviest model you can have for the most massive changes without any breaking. Kinda. There are some breaking, but most of the time without any breaking. So you end up with the ability to just give Gemini some files that are kind of massive and say we need to refactor something, and it will do it in one go. It takes a lot longer, but it just like does the changes at once, and it usually works. So that's the thing. So, anyways, I see. So yeah, that is not a bad idea. Visually speaking, not a bad move. I don't know who would have done something like this at any point. You know, I don't know, but I don't know. So that's interesting. But yeah, yeah, I can kind of see that. I realize that the icons are different, so that makes a lot of sense that you have changed that. I also realize that some of the things here and there make a lot of sense from your point of view. There are like a ton of things that just makes no sense, but that's fine. Going back to what I was saying earlier with the aspect ratio, like for example, these things have the correct aspect ratio ish at the top, but then they happen the bottom section, which is the same issue that I have here, even though this is kind of weird. It has some sort of a 2:1 ish aspect ratio, like it looks like a 2.2:1 aspect ratio. And then you have the bottom section, which is roughly the same height. So that's kind of not necessarily a good thing. And so these cards are kind of... And it also has like a ton of... It makes sense. I know. But it has a ton of these, which are... Oh yeah, our accent color is the purple or the violet in the basic Android things, and therefore you're going to use that without really paying attention to the color of the background, which is a gray, and violet and gray or purple and gray don't mix really well together. So we end up with these things that are not really good, or with these things that are not really good, and so on. But yeah, there are some things that make sense. There are some things that are repeating for a lot of reasons, like these arrows. But yeah. Also, that's very much, for some reason, it's AI coded. When you use emojis in titles, it's something that we used to do and then we kind of stopped because it's not the best. Um, but yeah, no, it's not it's not that bad. I'm pretty much impressed by the like the output. I I'm expecting this screen is the only one that is linked to real data, and the rest is just UI based related to make sure that you have the structure and the layouts and the things. Just you need to go through that. That makes sense. But yeah, um, the fact that you are sharing like a screenshot of the details or about or whatever, and it creates something is always a good idea. It helps so much. The issue that I've seen lately is the fact that some of the models that you might be able to use don't have the same level of image understanding. So you end up with something that is not good. So if you're using like Claude, for example, Claude is really bad at understanding images and then recreating the visual that goes with it. If you're using GPT-5, it's a bit better. If you're using not Helium. Helium? No. I forgot. The other one with an H at the start, I think, and then it's gonna turn out to not be an H. It's much better for UI, and the latest from the AI that dropped yesterday are okay, but not great either. The other thing that I could, you decide. But the other thing that I could recommend you to do if you want to be me for a while is to ask for native implementation. So when you know that you have things that are going to use like buttons, input fields, like this, for example, is a non-native input fields based on your device model. If you ask it to do that in the native way, you will end up with things that are system components that will behave like the system components and end up with a much better output than when it's specifically with Kotlin doing something in order to have what you asked for, but not necessarily good. So that's that's the thing that you could do. Um, hmm, I see. God dang. I am so much dying. That's crazy. Um, but you know, overall, it's pretty nice. Again, it's there to serve the purpose of giving you a head start on what you're trying to achieve. So it's nice. Yeah, me too. Again, as I said, I'm probably like, this is not really good. It makes sense, but I'm still not getting over it. And apparently, my metrics are okay-ish. I don't know. I think they're okay. And today has been really, really, really bad. Specifically just before stream. Like I need to relax and do things slowly. But you know, that's something. But yeah, no, overall, I feel like this is pretty good. And I don't, let me rephrase that in my head before I say it. I haven't used it directly inside of Android Studio, right? So I don't really know how it works, and I don't really know how it behave or interact with itself. Um, so with that in mind, right, holy shit, I would recommend you things that I'm using on the other side, but that might not necessarily work for what you're trying to do. The first thing for me is ask it to do things the native way, like use native components, use native implementations, and so on. The second thing is, even though it's not recommended, it kind of seems to work. Don't overcomplicate it or don't over engineer it. Like that's the sentences that I'm usually using. And when you combine all of that in your rules or in your message that you're sending, you end up with something that is way easier to like then go in and edit yourself once you have like a small amount of understanding of how things work. So overall, goddamn, yeah, um, that's kind of bad. That's kind of bad, but I get it. But yeah, like overall, that these are my two and a half main recommendations to make sure that you have something that makes sense. And also, it does help, again, you to understand a bit better how things are supposed to be implemented. And then the thing that we know, and I know that from Cursor, like directly from Cursor, I don't know how it works in Android Studio, but it's probably the same thing. One second. Because that's gonna make sense. So, your uh, in the beginning, in the beginning, you have something. Let's do. Let's do that. Still a designer that hasn't changed. Let's make that, uh, you know, better. So, if when you're starting your chat, when you send the first chat message and you have your context window or your context window that is like basically at the bottom, and it's gonna grow with time. So the more you are sending messages, the more it grows and so on. The closer it gets to something that is here, the more it will have issues with understanding the relationship with everything that happened in the whole context, because basically the message that you're sending right about here is rechecking the entirety of the context before it goes through the messages you sent. So we know that the context window for most models right now are roughly 120,000 tokens, and what we define as token depends on the model, as always, but it's usually 3 to 4 letters at a time. Sometimes it's 4 words, but that's kind of rare. Anyways, so when you know that you've been chatting for like more than a certain amount of time, and or there has been a lot of tool calls, a lot of errors that you have copy pasted, a lot of other things that have been integrated in the chat, your context window is going to shrink and you end up with things which is really useful in Cursor because you end up with this. But you might not necessarily know what that means or what that represents unless you have a better understanding, of what that is. So that is where you could start to do either one of the things that I did before, which is like when I'm reaching this, I'm asking for like a give me a recap in plain English, right? Like I know I'm at like 70 to 80% of the context window right here, and therefore I'm gonna say, give me a full recap of what we've done so far. So that's gonna go through the entire 60 to 70% of the messages that they have sent and give me a recap of everything, which is better, kinda, than anything else. And with that, I'm then taking that recap and dropping it in a new chat. So I'm starting a new chat, dropping this, like this is where we are. We're starting to do this thing, which is the next step. And my context window is now at like 20% or 30% based on that big ass message. But that makes it easier and you avoid, you kind of avoid this. Like kind of loop of everything is broken, everything is kind of going through things and so on. So that is something that you can go through and think about. It's a bit of an annoyance to maintain that information in your head if you don't have this, which makes sense. But yeah, it's there. So that's a thing. And I don't know. That's a me. I don't know. You know, being good enough and so on. You might also apparently. I'm seeing that. Not really, but yeah. uh, so yeah, I don't know what the free tier is, and I don't know what the free tier is giving you. Depending on what it's giving you, you might be able to just go through the free tier of Cursor every month and use that to trigger some bigger behaviors here and there. Maybe it's like one chat for free or 10 requests or something. I don't fucking know. Um, but why not? It could be. It could be. So that's a that's a thing. That's a potential. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. But yeah, these would be my recommendations for sure. For sure. Um, in order for you to get something that is better outputs, better things, and so on. What did you what did you say to achieve this? um, yeah, no, me too. I think the best option right now would be to get like someone that you know that has one of the max tier and just use their account instead for no reason. Password sharing and so on. Going back to what I was saying earlier, Ah, where's this? Oh, they. Huh. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check it. 1 second. This one is the one that Theo was talking about today, and they have a pretty good plan. They also have something that I do like a lot, which is like a quarterly system, you know, um, which I feel like is much better. Like $45 for a quarter is pretty impressive. And specifically because right now you have like 50% off for the first quarter, that means that, you know, you could have multiple accounts for $45. Um, I don't know. But yeah, for now, from what we've seen and from what we have reviewed, it seems that this one, this ZAI, is pretty good at code. So giving it a try is not like, you know, um, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Or might not be a bad idea. God damn it. I'm gonna expend it. Yeah, that's I see. That's the issue. um yeah, I get it. Did you send that as a message as the first message? Or I mean, not against it. But goddamn. That's a lot. That's a lot. Uh Cat, hi. Welcome on in. Good day. Good morning. Hmm. Yeah. No, that works. That works. What I found interesting at some point was to get it in stages, and it doesn't necessarily work, but it sometimes helps. So, congrats. So you would have things like, let's do the structure with no content, and then let's do this page specifically, and everything, which technically for what you're trying to achieve, you would probably do, let's do the backend and the logic first, and then add this page and this page and this page and so on. But yeah. Did you send them the perfume thing that we were talking about last time? I doubt it. I I told you you would forget. I'm expecting you have forgotten. um, Aha! See, we saw that fucking image for a split second right there. Uh, you told me you wouldn't see him for at least 2 to 3 weeks, I think, and I said you will forget, and then you forgot. Good job. Good job, me. Yep. um, I'm gonna say something for you, Cat. This bitch is good. I'm so sorry. He's Italian. it's the Pope's guy thing, and uh, the one from yesterday was, I mean, it made it to the favorite on the first try, so that's telling me uh something already. The one from today is pretty good, and the other six I haven't tried just yet, so we're gonna see. But yeah, this one is, I think my description was uh pretty accurate, to be honest. Like that first impression, uh yeah. um that's that's one of the like extreme vanilla thing that you can have as a base. Like you can do two sprays and then you're done for the day, and then um move on, right? And then have like some other things. The current state of things is this one would be pretty good for you specifically because it's blueberries or blackberries, sorry. Um and it's the bottle is really good. I don't know how much it costs, which is kind of sad, but it's pretty fresh and we do like it. Um And then if we want something that is a bit more interesting, you make a combination of this plus this, which is really laundry detergent situation, or this one, which is also like really clean. Um, and yeah, like combination could be really good. But yeah, most of these right now, I'm like, out of the 9 perfumes that I got yesterday from Filippo, I 2 of them are good, and the other 6 I don't know yet. So technically, I got one uh, in double. I forgot which one it is, but yeah, one of them is doubled. So it happens. Yeah, I went there as I do on the first of the month and the 15th of the month. That's what happened twice a month, roughly. I go check. And I ask for the maximum that they allow in one go, right? And it's 10 testers, 10 samples. Um, and sometimes they make mistakes, like today or on Monday, they made a mistake of giving me twice of the same. They did the same thing for, um, what is it? Here, I have this one 3 times. Like I mean, on one go, I had it like twice. So it's, it happens. But, eh, it's interesting. It's neat. It works. This one was really good as well. Very much vanilla as well. We do like it, but not the best from Indult though. This was really good. Yeah, yeah, this one was really good. Still really good. We'll see. Um, so yeah, that's that's where we are. That is where we are. So yeah, it's nice, but yeah, I went there and I said I want to test Filippo's collection. I have tried Labs, which is the other one that I like a lot. It's one of my favorites as well. And I said, just give me 10 of whatever you have from there in testers. And she was like, okay, let's do that. So yeah. If ah, all right, let me tell you something. about one of the reasons why we don't have. Also, I'm going to do that because it's going to make my life easier. Why I don't have uh, that for Android. All right, this thing, the extraction of the bottles is something that is native on iOS, right? We can't, I don't know if I can do that through here, but I'm gonna try anyways. If I'm getting, I don't think I have, no, not that, I don't think I will have any of this, but like, let's try here. If I'm getting this, if I long press on an element, I'm getting this extraction, um, right, of the bottle itself natively. And removing the background is not necessarily a bad thing, and that's not necessarily something that is infeasible in Android, but it's so much easier for me to just get it here through that than doing it on like manual versions for Android. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not probably not gonna have the app in the same way on Android. If I do the app on Android, you might end up with a version that is containing the icons or the images in a way that is just the square images. It's kind of shit, but it's fine. It works. Kind of. Maybe. I don't know. So that's something to that pissed me off. And then the other thing is, as always, the fact that the access to the weather, the access to the location, the access to so many things is kind of free on iOS compared to Android, that is just like asking me to pay for the key, to pay for the API and so on. Eh, eh, you know, not not great. So yeah. That's the reason why it's not like gonna happen on Android so as soon as I want it to be happening on Android. So far we have some good feedbacks on the beta testings, which is really good. And the other thing, like I did on the first app, is even though I'm giving or I'm kind of going slowly and not really like doing everything at once, if I'm polishing the iOS version and then transferring that to Android, it's easier because I have a better understanding of what I need to do. And therefore, the Android version is more optimized and more better than the iOS version for performance and so on. So that might be a thing, but I don't know just yet. And Stony, no, I don't have that because I don't want that. The I I know that you're not the, even though you are not requesting it, but you are just asking about it. Um, you're not the first one to say something similar. So a lot of people have been saying it would be interesting to have like recommendations to test. So you know as yourself that you like woody, ambers, floral, whatever for perfumes, and therefore you can like map the notes and then it recommends like a list of 10 or something. That would enter into the recommendation territory, which I don't want to be in. Yes, it does. It does. Um, the thing is, because I don't want to be someone that recommends you anything, maybe later, uh, and mostly some like an app that gives you journaling options so that you can try things and say I do like it, I don't like it, I feel like it's bad, I feel like it's good, and so on. Like that's the point right here. The only selection um, is here in the layering that would give you things related to what you have in your collection and what you can pair together. And the purchase assistant is where you save money basically, where you're looking for something and you say, well, maybe this one is going to be interesting. And then I'm telling you, no, it's not. It's going to be kind of the same as three of the other perfumes that you already have. So I don't think that's necessary for you to just buy this. And like that's the type of thing that is useful, but it's not necessarily recommendation or filtering, um, because like I could only filter on your collection. That's the issue. So yeah, you could be able to say, I'm looking for vanilla in the search, and therefore, um, you know, it's gonna give you all of the perfumes that have vanilla in them. Um, but it's not necessarily going to give you exactly the whole thing. Um, like anything that is woody or that have wood in it. I have a lot, obviously. So the search is a filtering option, but yeah, I would say for most people, going back to the usual thing, most people don't have that many perfumes. You know, regular people will be, um, basically the regular people can only see this. The free tier is here, right? Um, so uh, that is uh, is what people will see. They will have like 12 entries, and then that's about it. So if you know your perfume collection a bit, then the filtering makes less sense. But why not? Um, but yeah, like filtering on the maybe if you're looking for something, looking to add something, and you want to filter through per brand, you can do that. But that's everything is fine. And everything is fine. That makes no sense. That is not making any sense. It's just I don't get it. It's just wild. Knox, walk on in. You arrive at the right time. Um, I think my computer needs a reset, not a weekend. Like I need to wipe it out entirely and then hope for the best. The thing is, I'm too lazy. I'm so tired of everything. Also, we almost have snacks. Is that what you said, Cat, about snacks? Because that's it's pretty neat. Uh, so yeah, I did like a save yesterday. Nope. On Wednesday, uh, I did a save with that entire thing for my whole computer. So I have my booting drive saved right here so that I can just boot on this one if necessary, and I can wipe this one if necessary, and then have like a clean install. Um, not lose anything, but like when I'm doing this, most of the time I'm losing stuff and removing some of the informations and stuff that I don't really have or use or so on. So yeah. Kane, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? So yeah, that's the thing that needs to happen, and I'm expecting um yeah, I'm expecting I need an N. We need an N right now. Nox, you need to speak. works right now. Well, no, right? And right now, if I do that, we have snacks without the K, without the C. Sorry, my bad. Uh, yeah, I know, I know. It works. It works. Um, but we can't. We know we have it. We have one of the interesting words that are almost using all of the letters slot that we have. So uh, it's neat. So yeah, no, nonetheless, that's probably not going to happen on Android because of the simplicity and the thing that I can have in place here that just give me so much opportunity to have like good outputs, good content on these things, without having to think too much and without having to pay for an API and so on. So that makes so much sense. And then once I have that, the other options, even though, right, it's much different, um, it's going to be things related to the images. Like that's the only thing that pisses me off. The centralization of the database that I talked about on Monday is roughly an idea of providing um providing um god damn it, the images that I can have on iOS that are automatically like outlined and stickered and so on, and then send that to Android once they are processed without having to process them on Android because we can't do that right now. And so, yes, Kane, that's your turn. It is now Cat's turn. Um, but yeah, so once I have that working, that's going to be an option. Um, and now we need Nox. Your turn. Your turn, Nox. Ah, stream element just broke the thing. God damn it. uh, now we have nut sacks. Nut sack is fine. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Uh, so yeah, that's the situation for Android. It will happen at some point for sure. Not for sure. Probably. But yeah, that's the situation. Um, no, you good, Kane. You did pretty good. The alignment was nice. It's just Streaminaman decided to jump in before Nox. Eh, eh. um, but yes, that is the current situation. I don't know exactly how and when that's gonna happen, but it's probably gonna happen. The thing that is also pissing me off is this. I'm looking at this on the daily basis because I'm still practicing my Japanese every day. Like that makes sense. And so through that, when I'm opening this view, I'm seeing elements and I'm seeing things that just don't make any sense anymore. They are off-brand ass. They are ass, 100%. Um, and so we end up with stuff that are like the buttons at the top, the search bar, the the section in here, specifically the section in here, the settings. Uh, uh, if you look at the settings there, right, that's the section of settings that is like iOS 26 coded and so on. And that's the iOS 18 coded settings. It looks bad, kinda. So that's a lot of things, and you know, interesting, I guess. I guess. Um, but yeah, that's the situation. Um, isn't Opera based on Chromium as well? Which means that it's the same thing. So yeah, I have like 3 browsers to try. Um, like I have Zen that is installed. I have Helium. What's the name? There is another one that I forgot, and I don't have it in the view. But yeah, like it's just, yeah, it's a lot of work. So also that, yes, when I crash, just like this, look at it. So dead. But yeah, Zen is okay to me. I just haven't had the time to take the time to try it out and make sure that it does what I'm trying to do. But the more like the more I'm thinking about it, the least it makes sense for me to update and change browser anyways, because I mean they are making updates to Arc almost every week, which is kind of crazy. So um so yeah, going back to where we standed, where we stopped, where we did the thing. Stony, for you specifically, I do think that Kotlin is going to be pretty good. You're going to have some issues because it's declarative, and I don't think you have the declarative mindset yet. Right? Um, so to be checked, but yeah, interesting. We stopped exactly here because these watches were really good, and then Darius basically on the same day decided to have this illustration, which was really neat. There is another one in the feed just above. The Steve made an illustration that is really interesting when you're looking at it from far away, right? Um, it looks interesting. Wow. But then I zoomed in, and I have never seen a PCB where the content is not aligned. Yeah, it is available on Windows and Mac. It's based on Firefox, so it's a Firefox Mozilla-based navigators browser thing, and therefore you have something that is at times specifically for dev-related content and for the console a bit less good than what Chrome is providing, but it's still really good, and it's going like the development of Arc is better than the development of Firefox itself. That's gonna trigger the things again. Yeah. um. So yeah, I'm gonna call Fire browser, Red Panda browser, just to not trigger the counter. But yeah, no, that illustration is really good. But then I zoomed in, and the the things are all the same, and I don't like it. Other than that, it's a very good illustration. Um, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It is really nice. It is really nice. We saw this 2 months ago, right? Um, but now we have the breakdown of how it has been made, and it's pretty simple. The thing is, they added the glass effect now that they have the glass effect. So that's an interesting opportunity here to use that and have some of the diffusion, just the refraction and so on the glass, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that was an interesting thing. Um, this one was really nice, and I like this specifically on another platform when they said that this was like an AI based one shot with Claude 4.5, which is absolutely fake, but like it's pretty clean. It's a very I'm debating what they have used for the image in the background because I feel like they are trolling or something, but it looks interesting. Looks like a crab, kinda. So yeah, uh, shit happens. And this one was pretty interesting to me for many reasons, and that's just something that I saw today, which is like Google Flight Tracker widget appreciation post. A lot of people have been replying and quote tweeting this thing of people appreciate everything nowadays. And I don't know you, but I have never seen stuff such misaligned. Like they have too much padding on the sides, and they could fix that by having the same padding bottom and top, but they didn't. And interestingly enough, it seems to be something that is related to the live activity on iOS. The reason why I'm saying this is because this one, that is the next one, kind of have something that is similar, where the side has more space than the bottom, but still it looks better because we have roughly good alignment around most of the corners. It's just like this one needs to be either a bit more on the right side or a bit more up. But if you do that, then this thing is going to go up as well, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But small details, small stuff. But it could just center into that darker section and be just in the center of it and be good and be done with it. But it seems to potentially be something that is iOS related. But nonetheless, the fact that someone was saying appreciation for this, I'm sad. Yeah, the thing that you might want to hate about it is that it is coming from the French. Uh, so that's something. And I haven't checked. I haven't checked this though, so maybe. Maybe. No, they did good. No notes. I mean, kind of notes at the top. The top is a bit too much. But yeah. In the alternative potential thing, I didn't really talk about that before. I don't want to do it, but it's an option. But I don't want to do it. So that's really a bad thing for the first section. Um, there is this company in Paris. Let's just go hexa Paris to get this, which is basically the same thing as Y Combinator for the French. They speak English. Most of their stuff is done in English and so on. And so they are like on the lookout all the time for co-founders, potential employees, and so on to place into upcoming startups or just created enterprises and companies and so on. And they are not bad. They seems to be pretty neat, and they are providing the funding for the first year of activity. So basically, what they do is they give you enough cash and funds for your first year of building the companies, making sure that the marketing is good, and so on. They help you internally building your company. And at the end of the year, either the company is really good and therefore they take their cut as they do because contract and so on, or the company dies because it's not profitable enough and so on. I don't really know exactly the fine prints, but it's interesting. The thing that I hate is these are their latest, like currently working thing, and they have pen test X, lawyer X, vertical agent X, broker X, identity X. I feel like they have a I don't know, a clause in the contract that says your fucking name needs to have an X at the end, which will never happen. Yeah. So it's interesting. It could be something. Again, they are looking for co-founders most of the times. All founders like CTOs and CEOs. Um, so the reason is this. Their name is Hexa or Exa, which is Hex. So that is the reason. Instead of using Hexa as an hexadecimal code, they just have the fucking X. So yeah. So yeah, they are looking a lot for CTO and CEOs, and then you can like apply and so on. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But basically, yeah, they just give you access to a ton of things, and they give you funding for 12 months, 12 years. I wish. So could be something, but yeah. So again, it is something that I don't want to do, but it is an option if I really, really, really can't figure it out. I could get there. The thing that pisses me off, and I talked about that with my mom last month, I think, I forgot. The fact for me is that I have done the work. I have can, that is an option, right? I could come in with something and say I need like a co-founder for the sales and the marketing. Like that's what I need. And I need help for these two things. I already have like 2,000 downloads and users and so on. I have the Android version, the iOS version, and like all of that is done by me. So having like a co-founder of something that is already fully founded feels really bad. And if I were to create or ask or use that for Perfume and say, I'm currently building this, but basically I am in the beta testing session, so I have founded the entire thing. And what I need to do now is the same issue. I need marketing and sales. It feels weird to me to just, you know, um, giving them some part of the companies and so on. That's the thing that's just weird with me. But yeah, it's an option potential if you wanna check it out. Maybe. Um, maybe if you want to take a look at things that are in France, they could be an option for you. Um, yeah, they also have like work with us situations, and they don't have much, you know, um, things. The I would say what they do have that is pretty interesting is because they are like a community of not really a community, but like they are a company of companies, right? They are looking for people that have the experience to help the rest of the startups that they will help fund and particularly get like a cut out of it. So if you are like not necessarily builder resident, but like for me, for example, I am designer, I would be like a designer resident. That would be someone that could help inside off for all of the other startups. Um, and it's not a thing that I would do, but you know, it could be good. And you could be someone that is like an analyst, um, or a data person, and so on. And it could, you know, it could work. The thing that is, brace yourself, good about this is um, because they are a Y Combinator like thing, they have a ton of money. Um, they will not say it, but they have a ton of money. They are funding so many companies. Again, giving you 12 months of leeway of how much you believe your company is going to burn for the next 12 months, and giving you that as a gift in hopes that your company is going to make that back, and then they have their part in your company and they will then make so much more. So the usual thing is that 95% of the companies that they are funding or helping fund is or are going to die and not make it at all. But the 5% that do is making so much money that that offset the 95% of loss that they are willing to do on the 12 months that they are giving. So that's the first thing. So they have money. And yeah, it is basically the same thing. Again, I mean, Hexa in my eyes is the same thing um, as this, not this one. Like it's the same thing as this. So um, you as a potential company, you go there, you pitch yourself, you say, I'm building this thing, I have done some research, or I haven't done some research, or I don't know, I have an idea that seems to be a very good idea, and so on. Based on research, is going to be making how much money I think it can make. Based on the business model that I want to have, it can run up for a certain amount of time and be profitable for X amount of years, and so on. Um, And so if you give me like the first year, I would be able to hire someone to help me do the thing that I'm lacking in, and then potentially just grow the company. So, you know, like that's a thing. but I need to talk with them a bit more in details to know if there is like a clause in the contract that says that they are giving you 12 months of leeway that you need to pay back, in which case that's kind of complicated if the company doesn't work. Or if it's something that is like a, a gift, I doubt it, with parts in the company that like they take 5%, they take 10% of the company, meaning that every amount of profits that you have for the next X amount of years, 10%, 15% is going to them. I don't know. So need to check with them, but it's basically the same concept as Y Combinator, and it's they are just burning money every day. And yeah, um, like, mm, eh. So that's the thing. That's a potential option, potential stuff that I could do. Um, Apparently they take 30%. Goddamn. Uh, yeah, they take 30% equity, meaning that if I have done the work, right? I have done 100% of the work of building the project and the company that I have. So I have 100%, and then they want to take 30%. So I will be left with 70%. That's how math work. And on these 70%, if I wanted to have like a co-founder, I would need to split that 50-50 with what remaining. So that would mean I would have 35 and the co-founder would have 35 as well. So that is where I land on a weird thing where um like I have done the work entirely. And the only thing that I need is marketing and sales. And if I can figure that out, then I'm good. And so this would be not necessarily like um, a co-founder, but mostly someone that I hire in my team, meaning that it's like, again, they would take probably 10 to 20% off the revenues. But yeah. So if they take 30% is a pretty interesting thing. But eh, yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, investing 5 mil for the first year of activity is pretty crazy. That would change stuff. That would change stuff. Um, but that makes sense, right? They would partner with companies that then are looking for at least 1 million in recurring revenue year to year, which, you know, makes sense. So they invest 5 and they are hoping that you are making 1 for sure on your first year. So then they recoup like 300K at least on the first year, and then so on and so on the next years and such. Um, but yeah, that's also one of the things that I'm not really um, the most interested in is that and and that, right? So it is going to be capitalistic, obviously, and it makes sense, and that's where we are currently living. So I don't have anything to say about it, but it is still something where you have venture capital that is there to push you to make more money and squeeze more money out of the users and so on. So all of that is kind of not my vibe of a non-capitalistic person. But again, if they invest like 5 mil for the first 12 months, because you know that you need to hire like, I don't know, 2 people, 3 people, that's a lot of money alone, plus the charges, plus other things. And they take care of everything. They help you with the content. And then you have um, like a lot more infrastructure behind them to help you. So yeah, it's um, it's potential. It's potential. And yeah, that would potentially, again, uh, we do. Um, it's the type of situation where that would allow me to hire someone that is more qualified than me in code, for example, or someone that is, I was about to say more qualified. No, that is qualified. That's it, because I'm not in sales or in marketing, and that would be pretty good. But then again, having like a 1 mil um, project, it is feasible, and it's if we go back to oh god damn, what's the I think it's this one. Yep, it is. Um, like these apps, if we go back to Duolingo, because Duolingo is the usual one that we're using as reference for what I'm doing, they are making, I think they are in the one mil months. Um, no, sorry, they are making 25 mil months. I forgot about that. Yes, 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 yes. So God damn, the f- that's the fact, right? Duolingo is making 25 million a month in revenue through the apps, and most of the time, um, when you are buying like a subscription to Duolingo, you are buying for 6 months to a year. The monthly thing is not necessarily something that we do. So that means that every fucking month people are spending for 6 months or for 12 months in a row, and they are still making that much. That's probably why they are making that much, to be honest. So again, if you have an app that is like at the 9, $10 a month to $8 a month, you end up with something that is um, in the same realm that what they're looking for. So it it could easily be a thing. And yeah, an app. But yeah, going back to what I'm currently building, it is um like my current plan is this, and that's kind of bad, but you know that's where we are. Um, it's it's a one-time payment, at least from what I have put in place so far. It's $24 one time. So you buy the app and then you're done, and you don't have anything, or I don't have anything that will bring me back some money again. The system that I have in place is that if you want to use the app, you have that's the wrong numbers. Uh, in the free tier, before you need to pay, you have 12 perfumes to your collection, and then once you pay, so past the paywall, it's unlimited. I would say that's the only thing that is the limitation that I have so far. Some of the thing that Grizz was talking about last time is as a secondary potential that I could have here is affiliate links in the discovery section, for example. So I could have something that says, well, it's 24 bucks like one time, not a month, like one time you pay 24 and then you have unlimited things. But then I'm pushing a bit more in the discovery tab for affiliate links so that when you're looking for something that doesn't match in your collections and so on, I can just give you something that will work and give me some sort of a commission on the back end. This is a good idea for monetization and so on, but it's also more complex than explained than I can think of, because the affiliate links, even though they could be with like big brands like Sephora, for example, for the perfume app, and Sephora would be okay because it's like multi countries. Most of the things for affiliate is going to be country related. So the affiliate link for Canada is not the same as the affiliate link for France, and not the same as the affiliate link for Italy, and so on. So that's a lot of work to like put in place and retain and have and make sure that like it it's bringing something back and so on. So that's not the best. Um, and yeah, the thing that is annoying, and also that's kind of, I thought about it, obviously, because I'm not selling anything in the app and I'm not promoting anything in the app, because it is a personal journaling app for your experience with the perfume that you have. It would make no sense to me to have you open the app on a Monday morning and here you have a card that says um, you have a discount of like 15% at Sephora for this week with my code or something, or try perfume, whatever, which is not in your collection that you can buy with my affiliate link. Like that just doesn't fit right with the UI UX model that I have so far. And the only place that I have right now that could benefit from the affiliate links is the purchase assistant, because it's meant to give you like purchase hints, right? So again, you're looking for something and you're like, well, I don't know if this is a good idea or bad idea or something. And it is going to give you a recommendation. I think this one is I forgot if it's the first one or not. God damn it. That's crazy. Uh, yeah. So in here, if I had something that was like, oh yeah, this seems pretty good. This seems like something that would potentially work for what you're trying to, you know, to get and have in your collection. You can have it at that store, and that store is an affiliate link. That's the only place where I could push affiliate links to make a cut. And going from the user mentality, which is like, again, I'm the user of the app and I'm not like the user of the app, like the regular thing. It is understandable if I paid 24 bucks that the company that I'm using is making money somehow. So, um, having affiliate makes sense on top of this. And as always, affiliate links is something that most people in the consumerism environment are pretty okay with, because it doesn't cost them anything, and it doesn't cost, I mean, it just gives me a cut, and they have the same thing. Sometimes they even have like a discount code. So, you know, um, but yeah. Um,
Anasazdev raided my stream with 15 viewers.
I see a duck. Anna, welcome on in. I hope you're good. I hope the stream was good. As always, welcome on in. Yeah, I'm having a very hard time today, but it's fine. I'm tired and slow. So hey, for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Aoi. I'm the helping designer. So if you have any design question, feel free to ask. It is an all day on Friday, so if it's a review day. So you know, if you want me to review something, that's the day for that. But yeah, welcome on in. Welcome on in. As always, if you need a raid and run, that's also appreciated. But if you need a raid and stay, do that. And I'm currently working or talking about the marketing and the business model that I could potentially put in place in the app that I'm building, which is related to perfumes and perfume collections and so on. So that's, you know, takes a lot of time. So yeah. And Kat, you were saying affiliation to tester website. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? As in, I'm making a website that is there, that is linked to the app, that has affiliate links, and the app is like, so my brain is working way too much. The app would be the collection, personal collection, but the website would be your collection wish list situation. And then you have affiliated links for the bottles. I would say it would be better to have something like Scentbird as a partner, to be honest. For me, even though Scentbird is not necessarily the best company itself, but shit like this would be a pretty good partnership. Right? Because I'm like, the users get samples and testers and things, and when you have stuff, also that's exactly the illustration tab that I have in mind, or had in mind in the goddamn. Yeah, like a partnership with them would be pretty good, not gonna lie. But that would yeah. That would be complicated though, because if you think about it, let me see. If you think about, do we have the fucking pricing somewhere? I don't think we do. Like something that costs $15 a month, French, $15 a month, and even your first month is like 8. That means the affiliation potentials are extremely limited. And yeah, I mean, it depends. The company is still alive, so that means it's probably fine. But yeah, so that's the first thing, and then the second thing, even though not great, and for research purposes, is I forgot if it's the R fragrances or something, but this specific subreddit has 2.3 million users, I think, as far as I remember, and specifically as far as you know, that is. Um, and so if 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 I'm touching 2.3, that's so kinky. If I'm in contact with 2.3 million potential users of the app, right? That's just market values and stuff. And we know that from these vast groups of people, you usually have 10% that you kind of convert into people that are using your product. And then from said 10%, you also have like 10% of that that are converting into buying users or paying customers, business related. So 230,000 people, which means that like basically 23,000 people would be buying the app. I feel like that's fine in terms of revenue, but that's like a specific set of numbers, right? You are limited to that numbers, and then you are kind of done, and you will probably never have growth if you just think like this. The system of this means that as soon as you get the Born to Stand Out BTSO testing kit, you have filled the entire amount of slots in the app because you have 16. So you would be converting to a paid account extremely quickly if you are someone that is testing a ton of perfumes and wants to journal and so on. But like there is a conversion path that is almost forced but not forced. And so for the regular users that only have like 3 to 5 perfumes and they just want to journal their experience and so on, they will remain on this, and maybe they will have like 5 more and they will be really happy with it. Again, I just got 10 yesterday, 2 days ago. So I have a ton more than this. But yeah, no, so that's the thing. So there is the whole system of the fragrance Reddits that is like 2 million users, potential users, and so on, and then the Sandbird or the others that exist, similar that are doing the similar type of situation. Yes, it could be the type of affiliation that I could have. Um, but it feels weird. It feels weird as an app that is not um, promoting you or pushing you to buy more stuff and simply just giving you feedback on what you like, what you don't like, your personal like olfactive scent DNA and so on, and then have that linked to something where you need to pay, and then I'm getting a cut on that, and it's something that is like a monthly fee. It's not bound together, but it's kind of, if you are a user in the free tier and then you convert here because you want to test more perfumes, it basically implies that you will need to convert here as well because you've reached like I just did right there, the out of 12 situation. So yeah, I don't know. I added some particles, by the way, in the background, not for any reasons. Just it just works. I don't even think that's visible on stream, to be honest. You can probably see them here more. But yeah. Like that's the only thing that would potentially make sense to me. But also, I don't know. I feel like there is something about it that is still not necessarily a good idea. So, anyways, the affiliate things is going to or should be, could be, might be only these two things of having an affiliated system that goes with the regular system, kind of right there. Um, so you would have uh, bottles. That's not the right thing, or samples. And again, that's I to me that's like the only viable potential options in affiliate where you have a link to the store that sells the bottle, and for samples you have like a thing like Sandbird or others. There is a new one that popped in my feed yesterday on TikTok, and I was like, that's new. That's interesting. Maybe that's cool. But I don't know the name. So I don't know. But yeah, like that's the only thing. And so I know that affiliate marketing and other partnership situation are lucrative and so on. And going back to Exa, if we have it, because they are looking for companies that are making 1 to 10 mil a year potential, right? Potential. Um, it's it's an interesting potential. Exist Start is where I would probably be, but they are looking for something like, again, the scale is their secondary situation, where they want to help you scale, and if you start with them, there you have like a bit of a greater chance to go into the scale system. Um, but yeah, to be checked, And to go back to some of the details that they are like talking about, um, because they are funding everything, but they are also providing the help to do as much work as possible in as little time as possible. Your like their investment, their goal is to ensure that they can either break even or um like make a profit. Obviously, that their goal. So they wouldn't be uninvested. That sounds weird, but yeah. I mean, they are financially invested, but also humanly invested as well. So I would say that's the thing. So, eh, it's to be checked. It's to be checked, and potentials, and for you, Cat, specifically for the career situations, but also the other potentials. When I was there last month for the event with Cursor, mostly the thing that they said was we are always looking for co-founders for startups that we are currently vested in. So they start to be interested in a company. They then like try to find like employees that would match with that specific companies. And so with that, you end up with the opportunity to just be one of the founding member of startups. So going back to that section, for example, um, the fact that one of their cohort has been acquired by Brevo, which is like something else. that the simple fact of you being one of the founding members of a startup that gets acquired means that you then get a ton of money because you are some of the founding members. If that works out for you, right? Obviously, but that's their, I think that's their uh, most biggest brain, the biggest bet right here is making sure that the people that are invested in or that they invest in the investing in startups and so on are people that would be compensated by the in the future, but also like part of something that can become bigger and so on. So yeah, going back to Cat, you looking for a job, you probably have already, but this one is pretty good overall. It's a pretty good website. Right now, I'm looking at France, and obviously, I shouldn't have been looking at France. It should be just remote. They're all remote jobs in a lot of countries and places and things, and overall, they are pretty good. They have a system that is interesting in the way that they are like recruiting people. So it's a bit of an internal chat plus not necessarily you applying. You can apply, but it's not necessarily like the best option. Um, like let's say I wanted to work at Restream, I have applied there 3 times already. Um, Basically, what will happen is they will check your profile, their requirements, and then if you apply and so on, you then go into their chat situation thing, where the person that is looking for someone is going to check your profile and then potentially contact you and have a chat and so on. That's a pretty interesting thing, and it's a pretty interesting system as well that I think works. So Meet Frank is pretty good. They have one of the wonkiest logos font. Um, so that's a non-designer friendly situation. Uh, but that's something. And the other one is gonna be Ota, but Ota is now dead, kinda. Um, and it is like Welcome to the Jungle, which you probably already have checked them out because they are pretty good. There is like so much. Um, it's the same system, kinda. You have your own profile so that they know exactly what you're looking for, what could potentially match with you specifically, and then like for example, right now I have 10 matches with the profile that I haven't updated for the past, I don't know, 3 years. So that's kind of bad. And then I can just go through things and say, well, I do like this one, and so I can apply. And on applying, I can apply on their website directly. So this is a bit of right a job board situation. But then you can also have, um, or you could have, and now apparently I can't, things that I can apply with my OTA profile directly, meaning that I can apply through here, and that's an option. So yeah, there is like a ton of things that are interesting in there. Um, it's just finding a job, so it's annoying nonetheless. What? Yeah. Again, going back to where I was a second ago, going into startups and companies and things as founding members is a pretty financially sane thing in some situations when the company is stable enough or look to become stable enough in the future. you end up with the ability to get something out of it if you remain in said company because they grow enough. And specifically now, most of the startups that I've been looking at are giving you some equity in the company with vesting periods and so on. But like that's usually what happens. So you end up with the ability to get like more money at some point. Going back to what we said about Figma last time, and we're gonna go there again because it's really bad. Uh, so it's going back up. We have a bit of a rise, but it's kind of nothing. Um, the Figma employees got their their shares and their stocks bought at 33 bucks per share. And so each of the employees that had shares when it was sold on the regular market for 100 bucks, 122 bucks per share, they basically made like 200% on their vesting period. So that's an option. Now it's going back down, but still it's like 50, so they are still like 20-ish, 50% up on what they had in the beginning. So, like that's a thing that's interesting. That's one way to have some income at times. But yeah, other than that, not much. Other than that, not much. We are seeing not financial advice on this one. We are seeing like some potential on Figma gaining some traction and their stock coming back up to 80 and then crashing back down again. A lot of people are expecting it to go back down to 30-ish so that they can buy at 30. It will go back to 20 because people don't really understand, and then it's just going back up because the people are waiting for sub 30 are there and automated. So that's an option, but yeah, I'm not expecting it to grow that much. So, you know, that's where we are. That is where we are. Um, hmm. Anyways, so yeah, that's the thing. So these two are options that I think would be interesting for you, Kat, specifically potentially to find a job in France. Don't. But yeah, that's uh, that's roughly it. Going back to the regular themes, a lot of ASCII and dithering patterns builder getting build, which is pretty impressive. This one is fun, but that's it. I don't think it's the. I don't think it's practical. I don't think anything other than custom UI would work on this thing. And if it's not custom UI, and it's UI that's supposed to be on a rectangular screen instead of a triangular screen, I feel like it's gonna be shit. I also feel like this is a fake rendering. Like, just for the exercise, I feel like this is really good, really cool concept, and so on. We do like it. And that was for Jan and Chris for the kind of grid infinite Canva environment. I feel like this is pretty cool of a concept. And I think that's about it. Like most of the thing that I've seen is yeah, that's about it. This is kind of good news potentially if you are an artist or creator or something digital related creation. It seems that the Affinity products are now free. So yeah. Anything that is on the iPad for the iPad license are now currently free, and they have an announcement at the end of the month. And what that person has been saying is that because they are saying creative freedom in there, and the fact that the iPad apps are currently free and so on, there might be something where the entirety of the company is going free, which makes absolutely no sense, but could be very interesting. So if that's a glitch and you can get all of the Affinity tools for iPads for free today and you're interested, maybe do that. I don't know, it's free. Uh, but yeah, that's a potential. That is a potential really cool things to happen. We might see something. We might see something. I don't know. I don't know. It's going back to what I proposed to Stony 4 months ago. If we go with the oh fuck, how did I call that? The decreasing pricing model that I have in my head, which is the first 100 users are paying $100 a month. And then when we reach 100, there is a decrease in pricing. And when we reach 1,000, there is a more massive decrease in pricing, and so on until we reach the kind of break-even-ish situation where the cost of the infrastructure needs to be covered and so on, and that's like roughly $5 a month for everyone. If you start by like paying $100, you are seeing the amount of thing that you're paying decreasing month by month for the amount of people that you bring to the platform. So it's a pyramid schemes that really improve the life of everyone's rather than just the person that is owning the thing. And the investments of the first people that are paying 100 are or is there to maintain the platform and the infrastructure cost when it becomes expensive. So there is a buffer that you're taking because you know that your first like thousands to 10,000 users are going to be kind of free-ish, like it's in most of the free tier limits things. Most of the time it's like 1,000, but like you never know. And so when you have like your first 1,000 users that are, or let's say your first 100 users that are paying you $100 a month, that's pretty good. You're making pretty good money for the first month. And then if you are still 100 or like maybe 99%, the next month is also $100 a month for everyone. And then you reach 102 on month 2, for example, on month 3, it dropped down to $80 a month for everyone. So you're still making like a lot of money figuratively, but then the next plateau is 1,000. So that's a lot more people to come in order to reach that level of price decrease, and so on and so forth. So you end up with, I have like a full breakdown. Where is it? Right about here. Decremental pricing model. That's how I called it. Right? If you start at like $100, and then when you have 50 people in that are paying, you get 80, and at 100, you get a 69. Obviously, that's on point. And so on and so forth, which means I feel like if I did that, with that specific thing, you get when you reach like the 1,000 users that are paying, right? You're making 40K a month. When you reach the 10,000, which is like at 10,000 there is a price decrease because you are decreasing per like 10x, you've been making 40K for the 9,000 additional users until that point per month. And the time it took you to reach that amount of paying users is probably more than a month. I would say probably like 10 months, five, depends. So, financially speaking, this model is like an anti-capitalistic things, but it's also like uh, some sort of a bit of a mess for the grandfathering of the pricing. That was the whole system, meaning that if you add 100 users on month 3, for example, people are currently paying for 100, like $69 a month. If two persons are dropping down of the payments, you are now at like 98. So it goes back to the $80 a month for any new users, but all of the old users are locked in at 69. So any new is 80, but any old is like 69 because they reached this. And so if the like app were to reach something like 100,000 users and then drop for some reason to 500, all of these people, these 100,000 users that are paying, are locked at $12 a month. And then you need so much regrowth in order to re-reach that discount thing, but then the price is 42. So there is a bit of a potential risk in there. At the end of the day, it's an option. It's an option. But yeah, like that's a system that I think, personally speaking, is viable for the long run, because the grandfathering, the OGs of the platforms are getting more invested because they have spent a bit more than the rest of the people. And they also have potentially a bit of a say in directing the company and the product that you're building into something that is more aligned with what they want, or more aligned with what they had in their head. Because, they can just request features and so on. So they're seeing things, and they're also seeing their build drop significantly, specifically like in the beginning. Like, let's say you are one of the first 50, you're paying $100, which is like a lot. I get it. But then you're paying 80, and then that potentially just triggers your brain into saying, oh, if I bring more people that are paying, I'm potentially getting 69 or 50, which is like 50% of what technically, yeah, 55% of what I was paying the first day. And based on what Stony has specifically, but the people that are waiting for the app to drop is roughly more than like 100 people. So it would mean that on day one, some people would sign up, but the price would basically just drop at 69 really, really quickly. On next month 2, you would be at 69, or even less than that if you have like more people coming in. So if the thing is successful and it's marketed well enough, anyone that is joining on month 1, like let's say you are January 1st, 2026 is your release date, everyone is paying $100 a month. That's a lot of money. And on the first month, you reach 1,000 users. Month number 2, these 1,000 users are now at 35. So they see like a 75%, not really, a 65% discount on their second month. That would bring traction almost immediately. So you would drop into some of the lowest price really, really quickly. Or that's an option. It's a potential. There was an idea of in my whole system, have a good B-Bank section. There was an idea in my whole system to have some sort of leeway situation where we ensure a certain period of time pass to like drop the price or re-up the price to just ensure that fluctuation is not like as much of an impact as anything, so that months 1 and 2 are locked at a specific price. If you reach a goal on month 1, it's going to be integrated in months 2 and of the months here. And like it's an option. And the goal that I had was like 650 a month when you reach like a million users. And then after that, you basically are breaking even. So that's not necessarily the option, but yeah, it's you know, on that blue. um, yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, that was an idea. That was a concept from a long time ago. We haven't touched it in a while. Haven't touched that in a while. And Kane, you said I think you already talked about this profile. I don't follow them, so maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. And yes, also Nox, the initial users, because they see their potential discount, they will market it for you. It's the same situation of
Mom!
here, me having the affiliate link as well at the bottom on that message. That's something that basically ensure that if you are interested in what I'm doing and you want to get paid back for what you already have bought, you just join the affiliate marketing system, and I'm giving you 50% of anything I make off of your link. So you basically are marketing things and for me. And I just checked the profile, and I made a bit of money that I didn't see. So it works. It does work. I don't think I've seen that, Kane. I don't think I've seen that. I think I've seen their face before, or at least that profile picture is something that I've seen before. They seem to be working at Lovable, which, is not necessarily a tool that I love. There's something about Lovable that just pissed me off, and it's how simply complicated it is. So you end up in that interface, right? Where the only thing that you can do is chat. And that's it. And going in the code and editing the code right there is going to be feasible, but not necessarily the easiest thing to do. So you better just use the tool to click on the UIs and stuff, and then prompt and so on. And I just don't like it. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense though. The thing that we talked about last, also that's cute. The thing that we talked about last week, last week, was, let's see if we can find it. It's been a Monday. I think it was on Monday or on Friday last week. Last week. But basically, I can explain what I'm talking about. The addition of Claude Code was or has the ability to do a slash Figma nowadays. You can do slash Figma, which basically set up a Figma MCP directly through Claude Code when you have the highest tier, I think. I think it's in the highest tier. And so when you're in the CLI and you're doing slash Figma, it basically install the Figma MCP, which if you have it linked to your main file, it will extract the design system that you have. So it will basically extract the components. I'm not going to find it. Not one by one, but it was basically extract them and then give you something that is based on. So if you MCP your first file as the design system that you have with the UI kit and so on, and then anything else that you ask is going to reference that thing, it means that anything that is created through Claude Code is going to be based on the designs. And so, to me, that's a bit better than starting with one component, because you start with the entire design system. But I do understand that it's not necessarily the most, easy to do situation. Huh, where the fuck is this thing? I'm not gonna find it. I am not gonna find it. Yep. That's too far off. That's too far off. Going back to the other plain thing that we had, this one is really cool. This one is much better than the others. But yeah, no, that's the thing. I would, again, starting with a component and expanding, or starting with a design system and expanding, or UI kit and expanding, is always a good idea if you kind of know what you need to have. So, I mean, as always, the usual. Right? Anything that is in here, which we've worked on together, but like that makes sense. You are looking for a project that has this style, right? It's easier for you to just go into the base component. I know that my base component, for sure, like there is no question, for sure, I will be in need of what is called a button and an input field, and maybe some checkboxes and so on. And then that's about it. Like once I have this, I have basically 90% of what I will need for that project. And as long as this is aligned with what the client is looking for, I'm good to start with just this and expand from this when new components arise. But in the beginning, that's not going to be the case. That's fine, but that's also like not necessarily like making any sense if you don't know that your client is looking for something that, will look like this. Like it probably will not. And maybe your client is looking for something that, I don't know, looks like this. We never know. We never know. So based on that, also, what the fuck was that? Sorry, 1 second. I think that's an issue on the radius right there. Anyways, starting from a component, the only thing that I'm trying to say, and I'm rambling, and my brain doesn't want to compute right now, which happens. Starting from one component is kind of false because you don't know what you will have in 2 days. Hi, welcome on in. Good morning. Good day. Good Friday. I have had some issues with the heart today, so I removed them. You know, I'm making sure that I'm not dying.
Drink!
Yeah, that's a thing as well. Yes, yes. Gaffer, hi, welcome on in. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Thanks a lot for dropping. Welcome on in. Um, so yeah, to me again, it's a to me thing. I don't know. I would not start with a component and then grow from there. I would rather start with a page and then extract the components once I have the design of that page. So if it's an app, right, I'm gonna use an app as an example. Um, if it's an app, um, I appreciate it. And you have like a design style, right? The navigation thing that I did, that is a, a good enough element from me and get something that will then have references and other elements that are like componentized throughout the app, because that makes sense. So, you know, that only happened once I had a good enough understanding of what the page would be. So going back to what you said, right? Starting with one component is an option, but um, starting with a page and a design language and then extracting the components, maybe better. Like this one, same thing, right? I started with this as a concept, as an ID. Um, yeah, but sometimes you have seen that before, Kat. I've seen a lot of. I'm gonna blame some people, though that's not true. But I've seen a lot of Portuguese and Italians having the tag of English because they can speak English, but they don't speak English. Like for example, someone that we have in the here in the Discord, specifically in the self promotion, and I'm guessing she's gonna be out of this feed, but um, where is she? It's been a while. It's been a while. Ah. Uh, Shiki, she has the English tag, but she speaks Japanese 99% of the time, but she has the English tag. So if you were to filter through English, you would still find her, and therefore the title is in Japanese, so the probability of you clicking on it is lower. But you know. Yeah. And yeah, that was you also. It happens. It happens. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, Kate, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Lovable. I know how I feel about Lovable. I don't like it. I don't like Bolt either. I don't like Replit either. I really have an issue with what you can achieve, and like it's just such an annoyance to work with when you then specifically now, and we talked about that last Wednesday, rain. Holy shit. Pencil, which, uh, we talked about it. Pencil is now something that is additional to um to cursor. So if you are building with code, which is basically the same thing as Lovable, um, you're here, you do the thing with the chat on the side and so on, and then you access this thing, which is so loud, goddamn. And inside of Cursor itself, you have a way to get the design tool in the center. So it will work in creating the content and building the design for you, and then you basically have an integrated inside of Cursor MCP thing with a .pen file that is able to extract the design properly and recognize what it is, how it's supposed to be built, and so on. And it might take a bit longer than usual, but it is easier for Cursor, at least, to extract stuff and create stuff. So that, based on the fact that you can then go inside of said design pen page and play with it, you have, like, I would say the most Figma-like interface at your disposal, plus the code. And that's so much better. At least from my point of view, like, that just makes so much more sense to get your Figma file directly inside of your IDE and then transforming this directly from the design to the code and so on. So, you know, we do like it. We do like it. However, it's not there yet, right? We talked about it 3 months ago when Jake? No. Well, I forgot. The creator of this posted about it on LinkedIn, and we talked about it from the LinkedIn post. And that was like kind of way different than what we have today. But we have the ability to get the edit of said design, whereas here on Lovable, on Replit, and so on, we just don't. I mean, we kind of do. I think the Lovable thing, you then have the ability to just click on what is generated, which is just bad. Ugh. I don't like it. I don't like it. Also, everything looks the same, which is kind of sad. Yeah. Also, that 5 daily credits. Like, sorry, you get 5 daily credits and you get 30 credits a month, which means that in, yeah, god damn, in 6 days, in your first week, if you do your 5 per day, you're done. And then here you have 100 credits, which means that you basically don't get the 4 months, even if you still just do 5 per day, right? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. The annoying thing I would say on this one is going to be your first day, and with any AI model right now, your first day, you're going to burn through your 5 credits in order to figure out how the things work, right? And you will probably do things that you don't really understand in the beginning and attempt to, you know, ask something dumb just to check it out and make sure that it works. But it's not going to be good. And so you need to come back the next day to do 5 more, but you forgot what you've said the day before. So you're gonna burn your first 2 for sure, and then your next 3 are gonna be okay credits usage. As first of all, that's the thing. The other thing that we don't know right now is 1 credit equal to 1 request, or is 1 credit equal to 1 tool call? Because if that's 1 tool call, you're burning through 10 on your first prompt with this thing based on the model that you're using, just because, like, you know, it's gonna tool call shit all the time. So that's not the best thing. So yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Uh, yeah, I don't know if you remember. No, you don't remember. I don't know if I still have this somewhere. I feel like I removed it. Um, yeah, I think I did. No, I didn't. um, this this is what at the time when I showcased this. This was 1 tool call, like 1 1 1 1 1. And so in 1 message, it burned through like 6 tool call, 7 tool call, and that was when it turned into the paid tier. Like, I was in the free tier, then I turned into paid because I, you know, monthly reset and so on. And then on that day, it just does a ton of these. And then today, it's doing shit like creating the entire files of 700 fucking lines in one go and be like, good. So, yeah, it's putting through the credits all the times. All the times. Um, but yeah, it's kind of, if credits equal tokens, that's such a non-practical thing either. We we talked about it. Not really, but we kind of talked about it. If I have something like right now, I'm using a non-reasoning model, meaning that anything that is in the chat as a reply is what has happened for that specific call and for that specific request. That thing, that last one, has used, let's see, has used exactly 561,000 tokens. Ah. So if your credits is a very specific amount of tokens, that's a lot. I mean, specifically when you see shit like this, from what I'm doing like 2 million tokens, 1 million token, 1.4, 900K. So that alone is a lot. But then again, I'm in the slow pool right now, so it's not the best, but still doing the thing. I found a glitch, by the way. If you are from Cursor, go away. If you're not from Cursor and you're using Cursor, I found a glitch on how to do that. Have a good meeting. Um, yes. So yeah, you can error a request regardless on how long it has processed through, and then uh, you're not charged. It still counts as a request, so your request count is decreasing. But if you are in the on-demand um, usage-based pricing, you can basically error each and every single request that you have, and you end up with let me see, can I have more? We do 500. um, you can see all of these when I'm doing that all the time, all the ones that are longer. If you don't, you don't know, you don't. So that's a nice thing. Basically what you do is you start the chat, whatever, has as much as you want. And then when you feel like it's a very much on feeling thing that it's going to reach the end of its response. Usually for me is when this happened, the no linter error. Right, it calls for linting and then it's going to check for lints and so on. If based on the to-do list, and we know that we are on the last one, and it starts with something like excellent or perfect or summary or something, just kill the request with the stop button right there or with the control C, and it basically error and it's not counted. Don't do that. That's not good. That's not good. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, we have that though. That's an option. So yeah, I don't know if I want to, going back to the discussion from earlier, I don't know if I want to go to uh, affiliate links and so on. I feel like it would be better to have partnership with the app because it makes more sense. Like the shop that I go to get these, right? I'm going there twice a month, once a month. Let's say once a month to be not as generous, right? So they know me. They are seeing me every time, and I'm going there. I'm taking samples and so on. I told them that I started to build an app related to perfume testing and journaling for themselves, so that their client could potentially have like a better experience at home to just you know have something and say, I'm just currently testing this perfume right there, and I want to have some journaling about it, you know, and then I'm getting like some journaling entries, some feedbacks, some grading, some scoring, and so on, my own feelings, if I received compliments, if I received other notes, if something happened during the day, and so on. That's going to be around here. And so that could work 100% for me to have like flyers or business cards or things in that shop for them to potentially distribute to customers that are like interested potentially, or maybe just have like one of the flyers slid into one of the bags for any customers, right? You have the bag, you have your perfumes, your things, your whatever, and then you slid one of my flyers in there as a recommendation, right? That's the type of partnership that I could do. The issue with that is that most of the time these partnership is I'm paying them to have my flyers in the bags. Or, and that's my goal, I'm going there so often that they are willing to just let me have the flyers for free in that shop because it matches the vibe, because it is beneficial for the users and the clients and so on. That could be a thing. But it's the same issue that I had with this one, where basically the Japanese school that I used to go to, I made friend with the managers and the boss and so on, so that I could have flyers and things. And then they were telling me, yeah, well, that could be a good thing, but that would take probably like a year and a half to get you to be able to potentially have your flyer on the table at the front desk. So I kind of gave up because they were so slow. But it's there, and I might do that at some point. I might go back and just drop like a block of flyers and say, well, you know what? We said we had that. I had that. Why not do that now? But yeah, that's the thing. I feel like partnership would be much better to get than affiliate marketing links. However, what Kat said about having a tester or sample website like the one that I showcased earlier could be beneficial, but I could also have something similar as like your wish list is on the web and your collection is on your phone. So anything that is on the web is going to have the affiliate marketing links, and anything that is on the phone is just the database and no other thing, with the potential ability to just fetch your wish list, which is something that I was thinking about. Like here on that view, I could have the layering, the assistant for the purchases, but also my wish list. And so in there, in that said wish list, I could just, let you have entries and perfume entries that are not in your collection yet, but could be added in one click, so that you just have basically what we have here, right? You have that list, and then you can click on one, and it's going to add it to your collection because now you have it. That could be something that is linked to the website, and so on the website you could buy stuff. But the wish list is the secondary option, where like the purchase assistance is where you could have affiliated links, and the wish list is where you could have affiliated links as well. But then again, since the app is a journaling app, the probability of you buying something from the app makes no sense to me. Like, it would make more sense if you are looking for stuff online and then you buy something, than if you are journaling one of your experience with one of your new perfumes and then you are recommended something. That's kind of different. So, yeah, we'll see. We're not there yet. That's the that's the situation. We're not there yet, and I don't know exactly when that will happen, but yeah, I'm gonna do my best. The good thing is I've received some good feedback so far on the crash report and so on. So we have a ton of things that have been tested and broken and fixed so far, which is good. But yeah, it should work. I would say the only thing that I need right now is a secondary iCloud device with a secondary account, and something that is like old like an iPhone 10 or something to check it out. Maybe not 10 because I'm gonna be checked out of iOS 26, 27. So maybe an iPhone 13. But something that is not like the highest tier with a secondary iCloud. That's gonna be the thing, just to make sure that I can test stuff. Because that's what's missing. Yeah, that's an option. Anyways, as I said, I think today's gonna be a very, very short day. Let me see who's live. Because goddamn, I am so tired. I need more rest than rest. That's the situation. Clark is live. Let me send you to Clark. Because it's Friday. It makes sense. Alright. Clark is doing the words on stream bot, which is really good to see and work with. Yeah. I'm expecting the design to be bad, but yeah. And that's also true, yes. I agree with that. But maybe just don't do the thing. Maybe just you know. Take a rest. Take a rest day. Rest day are good. I'm gonna go lay down and hope that my heart rate goes down and stop hurting because it's hurting. So that's not the greatest feeling, That's the thing. Reduce the list then. As always, the short ass VOD of today is gonna be on YouTube if you want to watch that. If you have a question, I'm not live. As always, Discord is where to go. And the usual, if you want to learn Japanese, Can is pretty good. And if you want to give me some money, please, you can sub or you can, buy UI kit. That's appreciated. But yeah, I'm gonna go rest, or at least attempt, and we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, it's fine. If I die, I die. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care of yourself, Stony. I think you won. Cat, you won. That's rare that we don't have stream element and me at the top. But yeah. Anyways, eat something, drink something, be kind to each other. You know the drill. I'll see you all on Monday. Bye.